Thank you so much, Abraham. I've been anticipating this and pre-paving this for a while now, and I'm just so grateful to be here. I love Esther and her receptiveness and for her the ability to receive your teachings. They've changed my life in so many beautiful ways. I love my life. I have so many good things happening. I'm married to a beautiful, beautiful man. I have the best of best friends. I have a dream job that I love. I live in the city that I love. I have money coming in, everything that I need. And on the way up here...
You have lots of reasons to be satisfied.
I do, and I am. On the way up here, though, I was thinking life can't be about the manifestations. It can't be about the house or the car or the job or the husband or the friend.
Sure can. Sure can. It can be about that, too.
It can.
Because when you savor, you're satisfied.
Yeah.
Just don't need something to savor before you're satisfied at first. That's the key. Prime the pump. Prime the pump. But that's why the better it gets, the better it gets. You find satisfaction, you get something that feels satisfying. And so don't try to isolate. Don't try to remove yourself from good stuff and pay the price of satisfaction anyway.
Right. I had a thought this morning that
life can't be just about
the real manifestation is me. That it's my expansion, that it's my connection, my blending with my inner being, and how that expansion takes place.
So are you saying, we know you can hold your thought, that's why we feel free to interrupt you. So are you saying that it's your ability to tune to the vibration of the sound in the forest, that gives you the privilege or experience of getting to hear the sound? It's your tuning that is your gift, and then what you get to see and hear and smell and taste and touch is the benefit of the tuning.
And that's what I want to get good at. And I feel like, to borrow one of your metaphors, the car's at the top of the hill. Sometimes I feel like the parking brake is still on. There's momentum, it's going, and I feel like some of the resistance is...
Well, you do want to take the parking brake off, but you want to be in control of the car. So you're going to go down the hill. You just don't want to sit there. That's not the point of that story.
Right.
What you want to control is your vibrational frequency, which then controls the car.
And I think the thing that gets in the way of that control sometimes is a feeling of unworthiness. I was raised in a culture in which shame and unworthiness were big words, and guilt around sex, around money, around relationships, letting people down. And I feel like, so here's my question.
But before you go there, we just want to say, because so many of those people around you had lost track of their own alignment and therefore satisfaction and therefore power, and had come to believe that controlling circumstances was the key to them feeling good. So they needed to control you in their distorted view of feeling good. They wanted to feel good. They mean well. They want to feel good, but they're just going about it in a way that doesn't work.
And I was a willing participant in
Why?
that.
Because you wanted to feel good too.
Yeah, because
when you didn't have keen in your awareness the possibility of finding mutuality with your inner being, with your source, with your God, with all that is, when you'd lost track of that, then mutuality with others was the best you could do. And that's all right, isn't it? Until it's not. Do you want to ask yourself to do what you're not ready to perceive? That's sort of futile engagement in life, isn't it? And so how about bridging right now by saying, I did the best that I could do as I was going along the way, and it's time for me to give myself a break because I did pretty darn good, especially under the circumstances. I was born into an environment not preferring to be heterosexual. I was born into an environment being unique, having a calling from within that they didn't want to approve of. And why would I do such a seemingly stupid thing? Why would I be born with an unchangeable impulse?
Because I knew that by learning how that contrast expands my soul, that I would be more.
We can say it even more precise for you, because I knew that the mutuality of pleasing them was going to get me nowhere. So I was born in a way where I could not please them, which made me look for other mutuality like source.
That's what brought me to you.
And it doesn't make them wrong. They want it too. It's just easier for people to find mutuality with other people when they've learned to cave in and be just like everybody wants them to be, until there are so many of them wanting different things. When people join together in clusters of sameness, they do sort of soothe that raging beast of incompatibility, but they give up expansion. And then after a while, they just start eating each other. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. I'm miserable and it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault.
I feel like that's what therapy was for me. And it was soothing at the time, but it was more about looking at the pain and blaming someone for it and taking responsibility for it.
And feel the difference, even if there was a little relief in that, feel the difference between that somewhat relief and the freedom of satisfaction. Yeah. Ugh, we've covered so much ground here together.
And that's it. And this is what I want you to teach me if you can.
You already know it, but we'll say it out loud to you.
I want you to teach me to change the past.
The way you change the past is by finding satisfaction in the now. Because when you find satisfaction, you're under the influence of your inner being. And when your inner being looks at the past, it looks different than when you look at the past from your influence other than your inner being. That's how you change the past.
Does it matter that other people see it differently?
Well, you're getting...
Okay.
They're engaged.
No, they said no.
Think about the question that you're asking. So you followed that completely. When you're under the influence of your inner being, and your inner being is then addressing some aspect of your past, some situation in your past, your inner being is seeing it through the lens of non-resistance. So it looks different than if you're looking at it through the lens of guilt or through the lens of resentment or through the lens of resistance. It changes because your perspective changed.
And that's because I lined up with the perspective of Source, and I can't not see it that way.
That's right. This is the most lovely thing about Source. Source is not looking for mutuality with where you are. Source is looking for mutuality with where you are in your vortex. Source finds mutuality with all that you've become. So Source is always looking forward, and we did want to throw that in a little bit, because Source is always looking forward. But you could say that you feeling good about your past is forward, because it's new to you. You haven't felt all that good about your past. So when you start looking forward with your inner being, your past has to change. And instead of all that stuff that felt bad when it was happening, or as you've recalled it through time, you'll be in that step 5 Source-like attitude, where you'll appreciate all the contrasts that put the desire into your vortex, and you'll appreciate your ability to see more clearly, and you'll appreciate being able to distinguish the difference between being under the influence of your Source and being under the influence of huddled masses who are afraid to make a mistake. When you're afraid to make a mistake, you've pretty much stopped all possibility of any expansion, which is what you came here for. You came here for that joyful expansion. You came here knowing that expansion was inevitable. You came to experience the bliss of infinity, the bliss of eternity.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
Thank you so much.